Hi, I'm Daniel, and I'm Senor de Cozinha. Today we're going to be talking about seasonings. So when it comes to seasonings, it's important to learn how potent each seasoning is so that you know how much to use. Something like non-smoked paprika or dried parsley, you can use in larger amounts and you're probably not going to over-season your food. Other seasonings like ground onion or cumin, you can also use a little bit more and you should be okay. However, if you're using something like allspice or ground clove, 1/4 teaspoon can go a long way. When using ground garlic, 1/4 teaspoon equals 1 clove of garlic. So always keep that in mind before you just start pouring garlic powder all over the place. And then when it comes to seasoning meat, I always recommend using about 1 tablespoon per pound. However, keep in mind, if you're just using two seasonings like black pepper and garlic, you probably don't want to use 1 whole tablespoon. But if you're using multiple seasonings, you can equal 1 tablespoon and you should be okay. One thing I recommend is when looking at different recipes, just try to see the patterns and see what seasonings people use more of and which ones people use less. And finally, when it comes to salt, I recommend always using kosher salt. It's because it's a lot coarser than your just typical fine salt. If you use fine salt, you run the risk of over seasoning. So I always recommend using kosher salt and using 1 teaspoon per pound.